So how's your guys' day been today?
Come on!
I mean, I was in Boston this morning.
That's right. At the airport, right?
Yeah.
How was your flight?
It was hot as fuck. It was so hot. It was like a furnace in there.
Really?
I swear, if there is the bottom circle of hell, is just traveling coach on an American airliner.
It's not fun.
Hearing Mikey I think there's much worse than that.
There's nothing worse than being cramped into a tiny seat with two overweight people next to you.
Okay, we don't gotta bring their weight
splitting.
into it. Let's just say the seats aren't very...
It makes your seat small.
Yeah. Let's not blame the people for the airlines.
Well, you've got a terrible splitting headache that's so bad that you can't sleep.
And
you also
can't
can't
sleep on
just sit
planes.
there because you feel sick.
I can't sleep on planes no matter what because you have to sit upright because like you can recline your seat back, but you can only recline
2
it, like,
inches. You can recline it back 2 inches.
2 inches.
It's like are you guys familiar with the fact that apparently, you know how like when you're a pedestrian at a stoplight, you click the button with the arrow on it and it goes wait.
Yeah.
Wait. Apparently those buttons don't do a goddamn thing. It's just there to trick you into thinking that you have like some semblance of choice or impact.
No, it does do a thing. It doesn't. I don't believe it changes the timing of the lights necessarily.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
It
It doesn't change the timing of the lights, but it does play that gunshot sound when you can walk across the street.
If there's nobody there, then the walk sign will never turn on.
Right.
The cycles will just keep going as ordinary. But you know what I found extra weird? First of all, I'm going to keep talking about Boston right now because it's fresh in my mind, but while we were there, you know how there's like there's 4 ways. The traffic's coming in 4 ways. If you press that button for for pedestrian walkway, it'll stop half the traffic so you can walk while the rest of the traffic will move the other direction, you know? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
See?
In Boston, every single one of those we went to, you'd press it, it would stop all traffic, and then you would be able to cross both ways at the same time.
Oh.
And every single place we were at did the same thing. It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen because all traffic had to come to a complete halt so that people could move. But Boston also has the worst traffic and drivers I've ever seen in my life. Yes, worse than LA.
LA's scary.
Worse than Mikey.
Worst. Imagine everybody's like Mikey, and the streets are the size of a shot glass. And everybody honks their horn no matter what.
And nobody turns their goddamn blinkers on.
Yeah, we were in Uber vehicles, and most of them didn't turn their blinkers on at all. But they honked their horn and flipped each other off a lot, more than any place else I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah, and that accent is totally true too, but holy shit, the traffic up there. The way people drive was eye-opening, to say the least. But yeah, the fact that traffic would stop in all 4 directions, I felt like was a bit inefficient. But also,
yes.
People would be run over if it weren't the case.
That's true.
Because of how poorly they drive there. Oh my god. It was nice for me as a pedestrian because we didn't rent a car. We just walked everywhere, so...
Well, as says, you become a full adult, you turn 25 and can rent a car.
Exactly.
Yeah. apparently don't talk anymore.
Oh,
That's odd.
Anyways,
They were like the best of friends.
yeah.
I got to see
You got to see
What?
them, him.
him. I got to see.
oh.
I'll tell you more about that off camera, though.
Next time
Mm.
on Dragon Ball Game Rex Z.
Next time on Game Mavericks. Speaking of which, do we want to end soonish? We've got about 2 hours of this. That should get us 4 episodes. Or even 6.
Yeah.
We're at hour 50,
Alright,
so
this
we got
guy-
10 minutes left in us.
Oh, yeah, let's do 10 more minutes. Oh,
Well,
wait.
I would prefer we finish up these 3 levels in this session.
Yeah, let's
because
do
otherwise-
3 levels because we paused for a while too.
Right.
Okay. Mikey,
Because
leave that in
otherwise
like
I'm
you
gonna
always...
forget. I'm gonna forget what blue coins I have and which ones I don't. I think I'm on, what is this, 3?
Mike, you leave
Okay.
that in like you always do.
Okay.
Oh, look at that bird. Turn around, look at that bird.
Leave it in like
Or,
one of
those-
those French girls.
That's the caca chicken that poops.
Look at that. Mikey, you know what to do.
Yes. Anyways, what were we talking about?
What else? There's something
Commercial
about
air
Boston.
The Game Boy
Boston.
Advance SP is the best handheld game console of all time.
Which console?
The Game Boy
The
Advance
Game Boy
SP.
Advance SP.
Okay,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did like that. I think that PSP is a pretty good contender too.
PSP ain't got no games.
Are you sure about that?
Well, if you like obscure RPGs, it's a gold mine, but you know, it's like, what else does it have? The crappy Jack and Daxter game, the crappy Ratchet and Clank games, the crappy Metal Gear games.
Monster Hunter.
Why would you want to play Monster Hunter on a PSP? You could play it literally anywhere else.
Because Monster Hunter is a really good mobile game.
Why would you want to play it on a PSP when you could play it on Switch?
Oh, then the Switch would be better? You're saying?
Yes, better than a PSP, yes.
Let's see. Yeah, the Switch it had
You actually have a fucking stick to control the camera?
Gran Turismo, Tekken, Midnight Club. Oh, I think the PSP had a pretty good.
I have a couple of games for my PSP.
Right.
I've got Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it's a
let me
better
go-
console than the Vita, because at least I can actually remember what games were on the PSP.
I played the Vita more than my PSP. I played a lot of the Vita. I'm really sad that it never went off, but I've got some games for that too. I also have
It's
the
like
Persona 2.
everything worth a damn either got ported somewhere else or is not noteworthy. Like Gravity
Obscure
Rush got
games,
ported
baby.
to PS4. Persona 4 Golden got ported to everything else. What else is there?
Yeah, it's too bad, but
I mean, I guess there's that Uncharted game.
yeah, that did not get ported anywhere.
Actually, no, the
but
3DS, that's a pretty big one. That was a big money maker, and it had a lot of games on there too. Yeah, maybe the 3DS. That would be a better one, like one of the better, the best, or the better handhelds of
shut.
have they all been of all time? Maybe no. Well, yeah, I don't know. I think the 3DS has a strong argument for that.
I mean, looking back at it,
Um,
most of the games were fine.
The 3DS, sure, but I think the regular DS is more fondly more beloved games than the 3DS in most cases. But really, I do think it's probably the Game Boy Advance.
Well, in 3DS it had X and Y. Well, the DS did have Black and White and Black and White 2, and those are pretty popular. But you had
The Game Boy. The Game Boy Advance had Drill Dozer.
And who remembers Drill Dozer?
Me, because I had to replace the fucking rumble in it because it was broken. Speaking of rumble,
So it's Bravely
we
Default.
talked-
That was pretty big.
I actually didn't finish Bravely Default. I got bored. I thought it was boring. I really wanted to keep playing, but I couldn't. It didn't hold my attention. As soon as they introduced the pervert old man character, I was like, "Oh my god, we're still doing this. We're still doing this trope
in games.
We're still doing this trope in 2014."
Hey, Lodge, you should take off your
like, "Let me-"
while you clean the house.
Let's see
Yeah.
here. Here's
You should let me nibble on your underwear a little bit, huh?
here's a list of the best-selling handheld consoles
I
of
sure
all
hope
time.
she doesn't sneeze and kick my ass.
We got Nintendo DS. Oh, at 154 million units sold.
Sure is.
So yeah, the DS.
And then the
yeah.
PS2, only the PS2 is above that, but that's all iterations of the DS, including the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi.
And then
I don't think the 3DS counts.
and then the Switch is right behind it at 122
Yeah.
million units.
The only one above it is the PS2 at 155/159 million units.
Let's see here, best-selling game consoles. PlayStation 2 at
How much did
155.
the
Yep.
3DO sell?
Oh shit, the Switch.
I think the Switch might beat it, honestly.
Yeah, the Switch is at 132 right now. Sony, the PlayStation 2 is at 155. But the Switch is going to end soon, so maybe I don't think it's going to get to it.
I don't know. I mean, the install base is so huge at this point.
Right. And then if
But they also count the Switch Lite in there too, which a lot of people got so they could have a handheld only version.
Right.
Which I like handheld games in general.
I was like, they should make a Switch Pro that doesn't have crappy resolutions, and someone's like, they can't make a console-only version of the Switch because the selling point is that it's a hybrid console. And then they come out with a portable-only one right after that.
the Panasonic,
And they're like, "Oh yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Let me furtively rip one in anticipation."
oh Mikey, in answer to your question,
I saw the Switch Mini announcement trailer, and I got so excited that I furtively ripped one.
the Panasonic 3DO sold only 2 million.
I can't believe it sold 2 million. That is shocking to
Hardware
me.
sales, million units, yeah.
The CDI sold 1 million
The CDI.
over a 7-year period.
Let me see. You can see here.
Really? At the CDI sold that much?
Yeah, it sold. I believe. I'm not looking at the figures right now. I believe it sold 1 million. The Virtual Boy sold 770,000. I remember that, which blows my mind because I see those things everywhere. Every game store, I guess.
I have maybe seen 2.
Every
Virtual
single
Boys.
game store I've ever. I bought one for a while. I ended up
Then it
returning it
didn't
that
work,
same
so you
day
had
for
to
store
return it.
credit. What?
You said it didn't work, so you had to return it, right?
Oh, it worked. It worked.
So why'd you take
was
it
kind
back?
of
Did Nicole tell you that you couldn't
It
spend
was
that money?
It was a very quick regret purchase.
Let's see.
Okay.
Like I realized really quickly that I probably should not have spent that money on that, and I returned
How
it the
much
same
was
day.
it?
It was like 300. I traded in a PS3 and a PS2 and some extra games that I had lying around, which they gave me way less store credit than I anticipated. But I had gone there with the
They always
idea
do.
of they gave me so little that it was like laughable. But I had gone in with the expectation that I was going to trade these and buy a Virtual Boy with it. And when the difference wasn't even close, I was like, oh, I really wanted this Virtual Boy. I guess I'll get it anyway. And then I brought it home and realized how much money I'd actually wasted on it. I was like, oh my god. Certainly when Nicole found out, because I told her, she was like, yeah, we're taking this back right now.
Okay, let's see.
Alonzo, rock the wiki and look up if there's a video mod for the Virtual Boy.
I still really want a Virtual Boy. If any of our fans have one, let's work out a deal, huh?
Speaking of deals,
Let's see.
I needed to get a new Microsoft Sidewinder controller for the PC because my game port is acting up. See, it used to be with PCs back in the day, folks. They didn't have USB ports, so what they used to have was like a 15. It's like a 20-pin VGA connector, D-sub connector with like 15 pins on it, and it was called the game port. And you would plug your controllers in there and play your games that way. And it's acting up. So I wanted to rule out whether it was the controller, so I went online and bought one. Then I realized that the person I bought it from lives like 10 minutes away from my house. So I'm like, hey, can we arrange a local pickup for this thing? And it's like, and it's one of those things where like, a lot of eBay sellers have really poor diction in their messages. They're like the people who like to spell things, but okay, LMK, lols. You know, they talk like that. It's just like the worst shit in the world. But I managed to. He's like, okay, sure, we can do that. Let's meet at this location at 8 in the morning. And I'm like, all right, fine. So I did that this morning. I drove up to this place and walked up to his car. He had the controller in his hand. He, without saying a word, he just hands the controller to me and then immediately gets back in his car and drives away. No attempt. It was like picking up or something.
Let me.
It was
see
really weird.
here. Then I'll post that.
Well, how many were in there?
None, because it was a controller. It just had the feel of that, where it's just like, bring the money.
Oh yeah, Ethan, you were right about the 1 million units sold. 1 million, yeah, CDI worldwide.
What I don't understand is how it was kept on.
Biscuits.
What was it marketed as? Because it did not stay on the market for 7 years like that.
Oh goodness,
If it was just marketed as a game console.
Yeah, the whole so it's heavily invested in the CDI format. So I think they were trying to like compete with the PC market was the issue. They weren't like trying to kind of consoles, but they were trying to be like a console PC.
What sense does that make?
So yeah, portable CDI plays, but the thing sold for $1,000. So it was already ridiculously priced.
Was the CDI $1,000? There's no way.
Yes, it was. They were selling it for $1,000.
Even the 3DO was only $700.
Yep, the initial sale price was $1,000, and that's about equivalent to $2,273 in 2023.
Okay,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
maddening.
Yeah.
No wonder nobody had one.
Yeah, they were expensive as hell and not that good. Not that good.
Well, yeah, like the Neo Geo.
What the fuck is this?
I understand what.
The
I understand it's
fucking
beloved
game
now,
window
but-
keeps freezing.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There were 7 versions of the Philips CDI.
I only knew of 3.
There's the CDI player 100 series, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, and 700.
The one I have is the 450,
The 400s, yeah, which includes the 450, 470, 490 models.
which I went to the trouble of modding RGB, and then the fucking green channel doesn't work.
Oh no.
Oh no!
So you don't see any greens on the screen?
Nope. Everything's all purple.
Ew.
Are you sure it's not your CRT? Have you tried different?
I mean, I guess I could try just running it through the OSSC Pro. I'm sure the audience is riveted right now because I have to reboot my computer to try to fucking fix what was going on.